Hello crafters, welcome to my crafting room, and today we are going to make together this Mother's Day panorama card. And the reason I would like to make this tutorial is because I found a way how to create panorama cards without the use of the panorama cards dies. This is a Mother's Day card, which before you know it is going to be made. Time flies. And this is the hinge I will show you today in our tutorial. And actually I got this idea from the idea of the hinge from my handbag, and I'm going to show you in a second my handbag so you can see what I'm talking about. And for those of you who watch my previous tutorial on how to use mink foil with the embossing folders, here is how I use those red strips. As previously mentioned, the inspiration for the panorama card hinge came from my handbag, and let me show you why. This is my handbag. As you can see, it has, just like the panorama card, 3 layers: front, middle and back, right? But look at this, the sides. So this would be our hinges, like this. That's the reason why I thought of a personalized hinge to make a panorama card in any size you desire, no restriction by dies or spending the money on dies. So let's get working with our hinge. For our hinge, you will need the width of 6 inches, and which is this. This 6 inches will always stay the same as long as you want 4 panels. So every time you want 1 panel less, you extract 1 inch from the width. The height or the length is going to be actually the height of your card. In this case, my height is 7 inches and 7/8, only because the panel I want to use in the back has that size. And this is the panel. I created this with the embossed strips when I used the mink foil, using the Barcello, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, the Barcello technique. And this is what I got in the end, that's 7 inches and 7/8 by 7 inches and 7/8. So this will be the back of my card. So based on this, I'm actually creating the card today. So let's get creating the hinge. For my hinge, so I cut this at 6 inches, will always stay like that if you want the 4-panel card. And the length is actually the height of your card, the length of your card. I also embossed it because I would like to have a nice embossed look. I have already created one of the hinges, and just so I show you, this is the hinge I have already created, and it has a nice embossed look on the sides. And this is where the panels will fall. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get creating. I'm going to take my scoring board, placing this on the scoring board, making sure it's very well stuck in the corner. And I am going to score, where is my scoring tool? I am going to score at every half inch. So I'm going to score this entire 6-inch width every half inch. So I'm not going to recite, of course I'm going to start with half an inch. This is a very thick cardstock, and emboss makes it even more difficult to score. Therefore I'm going to take my time scoring this. So half an inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and so on, every half an inch. We'll score this panel, the hinge. Because this is a very thick cardstock, I'm also going to turn it over and score again. 3.5. 4. 4.5. 5. And 5.5. As I said, I'm going to score again on the other side. As you can see, it's barely visible. The score lines are barely visible on this side, so I would like to score one more time on the back of the cardstock. Every half an inch. On the side, and now let's work on our hinge. Now, if you are using, if you decide to emboss, or maybe you are using pattern paper, which, you know, one side has a different pattern, the other side it's either white or has another pattern. The pattern you want to show on the outside of the card will be the side where we're going to apply, we are going to apply the score tape. So I decided that I want to show the embossed side, not the debossed side. So the debossed side will be inside the card. So I decided I wanted to show the embossed side of the hinge. So therefore, I'm going to apply my scoring tape, on the side where is the embossed card. I'm going to call these pieces in between the, I'm trying to show as close as possible, every half an inch panels, I'm going to call them half an inch panels. So we are going to apply score tape every fourth half an inch panel. I wish I had 3/8 score tape. I don't, so therefore I'm going to use 1/4 of an inch and 1/8. So together it's actually 3/8. And I'm going to apply the score tape between the scoring lines. Okay, between the scoring lines. Don't go over the scoring lines, because when you are going to fold, you are going to have difficulties, or the glue is going to show. So in between the scoring lines. So I'm going to count my panels. I hope it's visible. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what I'm going to apply my first score tape. And once again, between the scoring lines. Do not overlap the scoring lines. and the next fourth panel. So I'm going to count again: 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be my my last score. Sorry, my last the last panel that I'm going to apply scoring tape on, because as you can see from the one we have already made, in the middle we only have 2 trenches, so it's more visible. I only have 2 hinges in the middle, so this is where I'm going to apply the score tape to create these 2 hinges in the middle. The front hinge and the back hinge are created automatically when you score and when you fold the cardstock. So let's get back to our hinge. This one, another one is in between the score lines. Now I'm going to burnish, especially this cardstock is great, but it has a very fine finish, and once it's also embossed, it's even more difficult to make the score tape stay on it. So I'm going to give it a really good burnish, but also not so hard because I don't want to press the embossing out. Alright, so I'm going to fold now my scoring lines, but first I want to be able to glue my hinges, and after that I'm going to work on the rest. So fourth and fifth half an inch panels will get glued together. Therefore here again, fourth and fifth will get glued together. So I'm going to, as you can see, it's very thick cardstock, so it's a very fussy cardstock, but I love it. It's very resistant. I don't know what kind of cardstock it is. I normally go ahead whenever I see a sale and I just buy it because, hey, you never know when you're gonna need that, right? And I'm sure I'm not the only one who does that. Okay, so let's remove the tape. If you hear any noise, don't mind it, it's my doggies upstairs. Let's glue it together and play with it so you can try and burnish as much as you can. Again, carefully so you don't deboss the embossed panels. If you have any tape overhang, I had a little bit of tape overhang, so just bend it over the tape. It's going to glue on itself basically. And now let's bend the rest of the score lines. This of course will stay in place once you start gluing the panels on the hinge. So this is these are both of our hinges. So basically the shape you get here is like half of an octagon. So if we're going to put this together like this, what you get here, it's an octagon. It's then a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, it's in a hexagon. As you can see, if we are to kiss the two hinges together, you get an hexagon. So what you will need on each side, it's actually a half of an hexagon. So of course the panels will apply on the inside hinges. First panel will be here, second panel will be here, third panel will be here, and the fourth panel will be here. Now I'm going to go and work on the rest of the card, and when I am ready with all the panels, we are going to put the panels and the hinges together. See you later. When cutting your panels, I always like to, for panorama cards at least, I like to cut 2 for each layer. So for the front layer panel, I'll cut 2 panels. Same goes for second, third, and fourth. That's because first 2 pieces of card stuck together gives more stability, and second of all, because I think adding a second panel hides the workings. Normally in a situation where you have a panorama card, you would have, let's say this is the front panel, and then whatever you glue behind it to show in front is going to show when looking through the layers. So by adding a second panel after you apply all the decorations, it gives more stability, but also covers the workings of your decorations. Now the way I do it, so these were originally 2 panels at 7 inches and 7/8 by 7 inches and 7/8. At the time when I used the die to cut these, I actually used the ground dies, the scallop circle ground dies. I used a little bit of low-tack tape. I put this together so they don't move. And of course I cut this using the die together like this to ensure that they will both be equal and cut equally in the same place. For the front panel, I used I used Heartfelt creation die, which is called the Decorative Blossom Corner, this die, and I used the small one. So the small one, and I cut it 4 times. Let's put this on the side. So these are 3, but this kind of die that when it cuts, if you look at the die itself, it doesn't have a continuous border. It's only on the upper side where it's a continuous border. So here it will cut completely, but here it will be almost like a stamp. So it's not gonna fully dye the shape. And here is the last one. So as you can see, on the upper side it's completely cut, but on the sides it's still, you know, part of the panel or the paper we used to dye the die. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, when embossing, it created this is glass paper, so it's quite tough. when embossing it created like a border from the die. So I'm gonna use this side as my guideline to cut out the die from the paper. Where's my cutting knife? Here it is. It doesn't matter whether or not it's straight, but at least you have a border, because we'll need to attach this to our panel. Okay. And again, here you can see it's still part of the paper. So what I'm going to do with the crafting knife, just cut a slit here and another slit here, so I can detach it from here, so I can detach it from the paper. And here we have our fully cut die now. Hello crafters, I'm back with my layers. I finished applying all the flat embellishments at this point. So this will be the first layer for the panorama card. This will be second. This will be third. And this is the last background. And of course these are the hinges. So now we are going to apply all these layers to our hinges. I like it when it comes to panorama cards to do a double panel for each panel, because like this it hides the workings of the back of your panel, so this will be glued together while being attached to the hinge. So when you look from above on the card, you're not gonna see all of that, you're gonna see hidden workings. And yes, of course it's a lot more paper, but that's the way I like to do things. And also what I've created, in order to write a message on the card, I've created this tiny little cute tag to match the card scallop circle, which is going to be inserted on the back. I created a tiny little pocket here, so it will see like that, and the message can be written on this and then placed back into the pocket. So now let's get working on putting all of these panels on our hinges. These are the hinges which you worked on together. I have already applied score tape, and I used 1/4 inch score tape. And apply your score tape as close to the edge of the hinge on both sides on all the hinges, so very close to the edge. So now it's time to start working on our panels. So I'm going to take our first panel, the rest to the side. So at the first we're going to apply the front panel, which is going to be applied on the outside of the hinge, like this. And then the backing, of course, it will be on the inside. Now when you're applying the panels, also try to, as you can see, I applied score tape again to the sides of the panels, as close to the sides, 1/4 inch. I also use wet glue to glue the two panels together. And also when you're applying your panels, try to leave at least like a 1/16 of an inch away from the fold, from the score line, because otherwise you are going to have problems with trying to fold the cards. The same will be on the inside, so just a little bit like that. So let's get working. I will do the first panel with you, and then I'm going to close the camera and do the rest offline. because it will take a lot of time, and actually this is the method I'll be using for all the panels. So let's take the front. I made a little bit of signs like what's the up, so like this they match, and the workings will stay on the inside. I made a little bit of sign there, like an up arrow to show me which is the upper part of the card, as well as on the back panel like this. This cut, this window, this aperture will match the front aperture because I cut them together exactly like that. So when I'm going to put them, to stick them together, to glue them together, this upper part will match this upper part, so they will be like this. As you can see, it's a perfect match for the aperture. Okay, so first I'm going to apply the front panel on one of the hinges. I would advise to check your time. Cut my nails and it shows. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a space between the fold line and the front panel. And of course try to attach it as straight as possible. It's not always easy, it's true. I'm sorry if you are going to see my head or the shadow of my head, but I need to see this properly. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist myself, and if this is not perfect, or at least as close to perfect as possible, I'm not going to be able to sleep well tonight. Apologies for the noises in the background. There's my little girl upstairs watching her cartoons. She's also a big fan of YouTube videos. That looks fine. So now I'm ready to press them. Okay. Now I can remove the. There we go. So that's one hinge attached, and as you can see, I left a little bit of space between the panel and the fold line. Now I'm going to sit down so it glues fine in place. Okay, now let's work on the next panel. So this is my upper side, this is my upper side, okay. So I can put it back down because I'm not going to open them right now. Also I'll open once I'm ready to apply the back side of the panel. Of course, just make sure I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so this will have to be glued like this. Okay, so now let's attach the other side of the hinge. So again, try to leave a little bit of space between the fold line and the panel. And I think I'm least this. Ready to press down. has a mind of its own. That would have been a disaster. Okay, so now the front panel is attached. There we go. And now we have to attach the back of the front panel. Let's get rid of all these bits and pieces. So I'm going to look for my size. Again, I have to make sure that where I put this arrow has to match this arrow. So the other side will be like this, but at this point I would like to attach some wet glue. So I will start removing the score tape. My daughter is having a lot of fun, in case you can hear in her background. The reason why I'm removing the score tape now is because my glue dries very fast. So I need to have everything ready to go. Don't do that. Trying to fold over all the glue overhang. I'm putting a little bit of wet glue on the glue tape as well to allow me a little bit of wiggle room. Now fingers crossed, we are going to apply this panel on the back of the panel. And again, I'm making sure that my two sides match, and the same as with front panel, make sure you leave a little bit of room between the folds and the panel. Everything looks good. So I'm ready to press down. And I like to use wax paper when I use wet glue in order to spread the wet glue with the bone folder. This ensures that all the wet glue inside is getting spread properly to glue the pieces together. And any wet glue that might squeeze out, instead of being on your project, it will be on the wax paper. So the first panel is now attached. As you can see, it looks nice and straight. Same from above, no bending. And also, like I said, I left a little bit of space between the panel and the fold right here. This allows the fold. See how nice they still folds? Otherwise the panel will have been in the, if you were to put the panel in the fold, right by the fold, you would have been able to do this because the panel will have been in the way. So I'm going to continue to do the same thing for all the other panels, and I'll get back when I'm ready to put the 3D embellishments on the front of the card. And for this card I would like to make a box. I'm not sure yet exactly what I want to make, envelope or box. So thank you, and I'm going to get back to work on this and get back to you guys when it's all in, all the panels are glued to the card, and we are going to work on the 3D embellishments for the front of the card. Hello crafters, my panels are in place, and I have here the embellishments that I'm going to put on front of the card. So this is the card the way it looks right now from above. As you can see, the workings are hidden by the second panel, and this is how it looks when looked at it from in front. And in order to write the message on the back of the card, I made this cute little pocket with this tag, which the back is embossed just like the hinges, and here is where the person is going to write their message to their mother, and this stays in here. Actually, I'm going to remove it for the time being while we're working on the front of the card to attach the final embellishments. My hot glue gun is ready, and I'm going to do a dry run first, see how it looks like. I found here in my stash some, I don't know, red flowers, and these pieces here, I cut them using Heartfelt Creations dies. This one is called Arianna Lace, and I used this die right here. This is the, no, I'm sorry, this die right here, which is this one. And after I cut it, I just separated the pieces. I cut the pieces so I have the pieces like this. And what I also did, so they are cut from the same red cardstock as the card, and using Mod Podge mixed with red glitter, I gave them I'm not sure how visible it's going to be, but actually in real life it's going to look, it looks beautiful. To give it a shine, not sure how visible this is. It's quite tough. Sometimes the light takes away from you can see a little bit of a shimmer. That's the glitter and the Mod Podge combined. Okay, so what I had in mind was to put 3 flowers on this corner, then 3 flowers on this corner. So let's see how this is going to look. This one doesn't stay straight. Something like that. And then to put 2 of these tiny pieces at the end, one here and one here, and the same on the other side, one here and one here. And no normally what I like to do, once I do a dry run, because then you know you remove all the pieces, so we glue them in place, I like to check my phone and actually take a picture so I can refer to it in case I forget how to put them back together. Okay. So let's get gluing. I'll start with the upper part. First I'm going to test the I'm going to test the glue gun. At the beginning it squirts a lot or nothing. In this case it's nothing. There it goes. Perfect. Let's remove these pieces for the time being. Strings. Actually, they say if you take the hot gun and blow over, the strings will actually disappear. I never tried. I'm offering support from underneath so I don't squash the card down. Okay, take these things down for the time being. Trying to make it equal as the other corner, or at least as equal as possible. Let's see. Okay. This is the one that doesn't want to sit straight, so I'm going to hold it here to glue straight. So I got some glue inside the flower. Okay. It still doesn't feel like it's glued down, although I do feel the heat on the other side of the paper. Okay, now it is. Oh, this one is really stubborn. Let's see how this is going to look. I think it looks nice like that. I'm trying as much as possible not to check away from the design with the white lace die cut. So just to glue this in place, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue here at the end of the shape of the die cut and try and stick it under the flower. Okay. And then hold it a little bit in place with the tweezers. Make sure. Yes, it's all good there. It's gonna be a little bit harder because I can't stick the tweezers underneath the card. Oh, this is like really stubborn. Okay, and the last piece. A little bit of overflow of glue over there. Okay, all good. All good with the world. And our card is now finished. Almost finished because I also want, actually, because it's such a big card, I've decided to make a box. So this is how our card looks. I'm going to put the tag back, and this is our card for Mother's Day, which once I finish the box, I'm going to put it on my Etsy store. this is how you can do panorama cards without the use of the panorama cards. That is saving you probably a really good amount of dollars. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Goodbye.